I will now call to formal order the Phoenix City Council meeting for April 5th, 2017. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilman DeCiccio. Here. Councilwoman Gallego. Councilman Nowakowski.
Here.
Councilwoman Stark. Councilman Valenzuela. Councilman Waring. Councilwoman Williams. Here. Vice Mayor Pastor.
Here.
Mayor Stanton.
I'm here. Ms. Garcia, would you introduce yourself for the audience?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María García, yo soy intérprete del idioma español. Si alguno de ustedes necesita servicios de intérprete durante esta sesión, por favor, me lo deja saber a mí o a la secretaria municipal. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. Next is citizen comments. Citizens have up to 3 minutes to talk to the City Council on any issue they'd like. Our first citizen is Mr. Leonard Clark. Mr. Clark?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Leonard Clark, resident of Phoenix, born right down the street at Good Samaritan Hospital. And I just first of all want to thank my fellow veterans right now across this country and across this world who have made it possible so that I can be here and speak right now, because if it wasn't for them and many who never came back, buried at cemeteries in Normandy and all over Europe, I wouldn't be allowed to speak. And that also goes for the civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, also that gave and sacrificed. And that's not a Democrat or Republican thing, by the way, because tyranny comes in all forms. But I'm here to speak to you about my high concern right now about the current, I guess there's an investigation going on. There's a young lady where there was a video where she was strangled and punched in the mouth in a car in a Walmart parking lot back on March 16th or 17th. But essentially, I've been told by the mayor's secretary that it is the police investigating the police. And look, I'm in the middle. I have friends on the right who, anything the police say, you know, hey, they're all saints. I have friends on the left who say, no police at all. I'm in the middle. I'm just a concerned citizen. I'm a moderate. But the problem is, I'm worried it's not just the police, it's our leaders that are running the police. We have a culture of this post-9/11 atmosphere now where our civil rights are being assaulted. We have a county attorney here that you guys turn over our people to when they get felonies, Bill Montgomery. There's another female I want to speak to you about, Jessica Burlew. I believe she was accused of second-degree murder. She was in the company of her alleged statutory rapist, 20 years her senior. She was put in solitary confinement. I believe she was arrested in Phoenix. Bill Montgomery, this young girl, a year and a half. I'm asking for a civilian police board, and I'm going to bring you a petition next meeting. Okay, and I'm going to ask, per the city charter, that you vote on it. New York City can do it. They've got like so many police, it's like a small army. I think it helps our police if we can get them all body cams, if we can make sure that they're not turned off. I'm highly concerned about the chain of things going on, but I'm not going to vilify one group or the other, because I know from the military, a military mentality comes from many of my fellow veterans who come to join the Phoenix Police. They have their elders, just like any tribe, and the elders say to a lot, you know, you want to come home tonight to your family to be alive? You know, don't trust anybody. But the problem is it's gone overboard now. You know, we're trigger happy. A little lady, God rest her soul, like Michelle Cusseau with a hammer, a young man in a Circle K who was slammed down into concrete. His teeth were punched out. It's not about color. He happened to be white. Michelle happened to be black. It's about human rights. So I'm asking that this investigation of Dolores Imboden, I'm asking that you give it out to an independent inquiry. I'm asking for civilian police board. I will bring a petition to you next time on that. I'm not against the police. I'm just for making sure what's apparently happening to our system of justice in this country, in this state, this decline that's happening, to reverse it. Because I'm a moderate. You guys can call me radical all you want. I'm actually a moderate. I make the people on the far left and the far right very mad because I want our republic to survive. But the city of Phoenix needs to take the lead, because Dolores Imboden, indigenous lady from Alaska, you know, she was strangled.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Clark,
I need
very much.
I need an investigation, Mayor. I need it. Thank you.
Thank you for the request. Thank you for coming down. The light system is not working with the sound system, so I'll have to give the 3 minutes. I'll get the indication. Ms. Barker, Diane Barker, up to 3 minutes. Great to see you.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and
afternoon.
Council. Diane Barker in District 7, and I've got some good news, is that who was the winner of the NCAA? according to the governor, it was Arizona, and certainly the city of Phoenix put on a wonderful fan fest, the music fest, and hosting all of the teams downtown. I got the pleasure of serving. I was one of the 3,000 volunteers who gave over 8,000 of the hours to the community for this good event, and I got to see my councilman at our new location for Meet Me Downtown Monday with the widescreen, and that was the night of the game. So I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I look forward to having Phoenix be the host of these, because guess what? Who does it the best? Phoenix, okay? So, and also I'd like to put in the card for Meet Me Downtown. We want to see you over at the park. We get out. That's the mantra. Get out Monday. Get downtown and walk, run, or socialize. And we have raffle tickets for good events, ball games, and symphony. And it's Valley Bike Month. I came here by bike, and so I encourage you to get out that way too. It helps out just like we did. People used more multimodal transportation, and it was very helpful. And I have to say the police department did a great job. I got a shot of them over with the picture at Aerosmith, and a man back at my hometown said, he posted and said, I knew she'd get arrested. So anyway, would Phoenix benefit by a strong mayor? Well, I looked at the tape last time. If he has good discretion, I didn't get to speak. He announced that 3 minutes, we each get 3 minutes. I timed that, Mayor, and John and I split 3 minutes. So, and it was all guys that got to speak before me. So I'm not going to be here sitting and not speaking up. I'd like my turn. But the benefit of a strong mayor is maybe we have more hands-on in management. I want to put this in. The city needs to correct what I've been here before. The letter of February is a fake from the city manager that the city was not, at the time of the deposition, a party to the suit. I've got what you have. I looked at the docket, federal court. You have it incorrect. The dismissal date, I put the correct dates. It's all of record. And this has been going on since Ed worked with Jerry Kaufman in 1997. I'm sorry, but you know what? Until we get best practices, then we will still be here as citizens, and the attorneys have a professional creed not to hurt people by yelling at them in depositions, and that's what happened, okay?
Thank you very much, Ms. Barker.
I'm going to give this to you.
I think the sound system and the light and sound is now fixed. Okay. The next speaker will be Ms. Greta Rogers. And then the final speaker will be Mr. Dibler, James Dibler. Ms. Rogers.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, and all citizens in attendance. My name is Greta Rogers. I want the City Council to request for approval, as I did this morning with Ed Zerker and Paul Blue, to put a full report from point of beginning to present on the Sheraton Hotel fiasco. The citizens of Phoenix deserve nothing less. This is a shame upon the face of this council and the mayor and upon management for allowing this fiasco to go on now for 14 months. And they have no close of escrow. They have no hope for a close of escrow because the people they've been dealing with are either con artists or deadbeats. And I want a full report. We deserve nothing less. as the people of this city who are the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Mr. Deibler?
Hello, I am James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, in Council District 5. I would like to see ASU Autism Club move their operations from ASU Tempe to ASU Downtown Phoenix so people do not have to travel too far to Tempe for club meetings. I know there are a lot of people going to downtown Phoenix for shops and dining, watching sports teams, and going to college at University of Arizona and Arizona State University. I heard on the news yesterday afternoon that Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Benzone is shutting down Tent City due to the work conditions of the detention officers when they work outside in the heat. Tent City has become a media circuit on the news and doesn't save taxpayers money. MCSO would help to save $4.4 million by closing Tent City and by moving inmates to more safer jails within Maricopa County. I am a proud Democrat. Thank you for no time and some consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deibler. It's all the comments we have for citizen comments. We'll now move into City Clerk reading the 24-hour paragraph. Mr. City Clerk.
The titles of the following ordinance numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinances number G6296 through G6306, S43314, and S343356 through 43396, and resolutions number 21522 through 21526.
Thank you very much. There are no meeting minutes to approve. Now I'm on the boards and commissions, but before we do, I want to publicly welcome, as he takes a nice photo right there, our state representative who represents Phoenix, State Representative Reginald Boulding. Thank you for being here and your service to the citizens of Phoenix, and you're welcome to visit us here anytime at Phoenix City Hall Chambers. Much friendlier confines. And I know you're here in support of a family member who's going to be hopefully nominated to a board or commission and begin service. So let's do boards and commissions right now, and then we'll swear in those citizen leaders who are here to begin their service time. Do we have a motion on mayor's boards and commissions?
Mayor, motion to approve mayor's boards and commissions nomination as corrected.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. City council boards and commissions?
Motion to approve city council boards and commissions nominations as corrected.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. I know in addition to Reggie's family member, we have other citizen leaders, so come down to my right, your left, and we'll swear you in, and then you can come behind the dais, and individual council members would like to say thank you for your service. Please raise your right hand. I, and state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of, and fill in the blank, according to the best of my ability, So help me God. You're official. Thanks for your service very much. Appreciate it.
Mayor.
In addition, Vice Mayor has some special guests she wants to introduce. Vice Mayor Pastor.
Yes, I would like to introduce Allison Salton and Norma Gwynn and Cindy Gwynn. Each one represents a different district. Allison represents District 7, Norma represents District 6, and Cindy represents District 4. I had the pleasure of having lunch with them, and they've had the pleasure of learning about city politics. So thank you for being with me.
Actually, they bought lunch with they paid dearly for it to serve a local nonprofit. Was she worth the money? Every penny. All right, good. All right, good. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. That's so nice. All right, next we have liquor license applications. Vice Mayor, is there an omnibus liquor license application nomination?
Motion to approve items 3 through 17, except item 17.
Motion and a second. All cards are in favor. Any comments by members of the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, item number 7. That's in Councilman Nowakowski. Staff is recommending disapproval. Can we get a short, 17, excuse me. Can we get a short staff report? And then we'll see if there's a motion from the council member after hearing from citizens.
Mayor and members of the council, my name is Denise Archibald with the City Clerk Department, and with me is Nathan Watts with the City Prosecutor's Office. This request is for an ownership transfer of a Series 7 beer and wine bar license for a business operating as El Rancho Bar. This location was previously licensed for liquor sales and may currently operate with an interim permit. Staff recommends disapproval of this application based on a police department recommendation for disapproval.
Thank you very much. We have Officer Jared Smart, please, who's going to give a report on behalf of the Phoenix Police Department, and then we'll hear from the applicant, Nancy Vasquez. Officer Smart.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Detective Jared Smart, the City of Phoenix Police Department, the South Mountain Precinct Liquor Detective. The applicant, Nancy Vasquez, is not capable, qualified, or reliable as required by ARS 4-203 for the following reasons. She claims no experience in the restaurant or bar industry. Several violations of liquor regulations and laws were observed during the on-site visit of the proposed liquor establishment. Ms. Vasquez provided false information on her liquor application and failed to report her husband, Alberto, as a manager of the El Rancho Bar. Additionally, Ms. Vasquez was unable to explain dozens of large cash deposits made into her savings account from an undisclosed source. Those deposits totaled approximately $45,000, and there's also some concern with some possible hidden ownership. Police did a on-site visit on February 1st of 2017. We were first met by Ms. Vasquez's husband, Alberto, who informed us at that time that he was the manager of the bar when Ms. Vasquez was not there. When Ms. Vasquez arrived, she also confirmed that he manages the bar when she's not there. Alberto was found nowhere on the liquor application. Inside the bar, there were 2 pay-to-play pool tables inside the bar that were not properly licensed within the city. When asked for the invoices for her beer and alcohol purchases, she was unable to provide those. She had told us that she had attended the liquor law training. When asked to provide the certificate, she was unable to provide us a certificate, and then told us that she had not actually attended the training. While we were there, neither Alberto or Ms. Vasquez could properly tell us what the identification was needed to purchase alcohol in the state of Arizona. We also found a logbook behind the bar that appeared that they were selling beer on credit over multiple days. There was an employee in the bar at the time, and she could not remember her name. It took her a few minutes to actually remember the employee in the bar's name. She was able to provide us with some financial statements from the Bank of America, and she could not explain the large amounts of cash that were in her bank account. As we did our as the police did their investigation, they were able to locate a commercial burglary report where a Mr. David Vasquez claimed ownership approximately 2 months before our visit. We looked into Facebook for Mr. Vasquez and and found that they are linked. She was listed as a promoter of his bar. For those reasons, I do not believe that she is reliable, capable, or qualified to run this establishment.
Thank you very much, Detective. Any questions for Detective Smart? All right, now we'll hear from Ms. Vasquez, the applicant. We appreciate you provide up to 2 minutes of testimony, but as much as possible, if you could specifically address the statements made by Detective Smart.
Hi, good evening. I don't know where to start. My name is Nancy Vasquez. I'm the owner of El Rancho Bar. When the detectives got at the business, I wasn't well prepared. He wasn't the one that interviewed me. It was a different guy. I just don't remember the other guy's name, but it wasn't him. He was there with another officer. It was 3 of them, and I must say they really intimidated me because, I'm new to the business. I don't know what to say. I mean, they intimidated me, but I have all the records of the liquor where I've been purchasing the liquor from Hensley and Crescent Crown. I have all the receipts. I have my liquor classes. My husband, he's not a manager at the business because he's not a U.S. resident. He is just has a work permit. If the officer would like to look at all the information that I did not show him, I have everything in this folder. I have the contract from when we started at the business, the receipts where I've been purchasing the liquor. I have the proof of where I have all the money that I told the other officer that I actually spoke to. I told him that we were doing business on eBay, selling and purchasing, and that's where I have all my money from. If you would like to take a look at all the paperwork, I have it right here. That way they're more comfortable of where I got all the money from.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any other additional information you'd like to provide this city council?
No.
Okay, so now I'll turn over to members of the city council. Is there any questions for Ms. Vasquez or Detective Smart? Okay, so now I'll turn it over to Councilman Nowakowski. It's his district, and I think he might have a statement and/or motion. Councilman.
You know, we've been trying to get a hold of you for a couple weeks. It says that your voicemail is full, so we've been trying for at least 20 different times.
Really? I'm sorry.
And that was Felicita, my assistant. So I'm not sure if there's a number that we can get a hold of you, because what we're trying to do is actually sit down and give you the opportunity to show all that evidence and proof that you have, so we could sit down with the officers and kind of iron things out instead of trying to do it here at the council meeting. I'm not sure if there's a way to do that still, or we've continued this twice, right?
Mayor, members of the council, Councilman Nowakowski, the item has been continued twice due to the request from the applicant, and so we will be encroaching on the state's 105-day timeline, so it would not be recommended.
But I mean, can we still do it for the next meeting? Would there be time to do that, or?
So the state has 105 days from the date of application filed with them to process the application. That date expires prior to the next agenda on May 10th. We can check in with the state, but it would be up to the state to allow us to do that.
All right. Councilman, it's up to you how you want to recommend, but so in terms of scheduled meetings that we have, realistically, there'd be no way to continue this, get to the bottom of the information Ms. Vasquez is trying to provide, and then still have the opportunity for City Council to make a recommendation to the State Liquor Board.
In a timely manner, correct.
Okay.
So if we act, would April 19th be beyond that 120th day, or?
Oh, sorry about that. I was looking at the May 10th, sorry. So yes, you're right, Councilman Nowakowski. So May 3rd is the deadline, sorry. Yes, so if she signs a paper today that I can hand her, then we can continue.
A waiver?
I apologize for that. Yes, a waiver. April 19th.
But what I'd like to do is, before even doing that, just to have a commitment that you sit down with my assistant and the police officer and schedule a meeting so that you can try to work things out.
Yeah.
And see if we can work things out. If not, I'll be denying it next time you come in front of us, all right?
Okay.
So, Councilman, would you like a motion to continue to our next meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to continue to the next.
We have a motion to continue to the next meeting. We have a second. Are there any comments by members of this council? I would just say that our Phoenix Police Department has done a very thorough investigation. They presented some very compelling information here today. So I'm assuming that probably the councilman and I agree that it's going to be a very heavy burden to overcome, but I think the councilman's offering you an opportunity to at least have a chance to make your case, if you will. If you're not able to overcome it, then I'm assuming the recommendation will be not to support the liquor license. Ultimately, your day in court, if you will be before the State Liquor Board.
Yeah, like I just said, I have all the invoices from where I purchased the liquor since I've been at the property. I have my liquor classes. I have everything that I did not provide them. That's why.
Okay, but to be clear, the police officer provided much more information, much beyond that in terms of problems with supporters. So you've got a heavy burden to overcome, I think is probably a fair way to put it.
I have everything that he's concerned with. I have it in this folder prepared to show him.
All right, so that's the motion is to continue. Your second, Councilman, you have a statement or thought?
No, that's it.
Okay, motion to continue, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We'll see you at our next meeting. Next item on the agenda are ordinances, resolutions, new business, planning, and zoning. Vice Mayor, do we have a omnibus motion on those items?
Yes. Motion to approve items 18 through 97, except the following. Items 95 and 96. Item 83 has been continued to April 19th, 2017, and item 97 has been continued to May 10th, 2017. Item 76 has been withdrawn. Item 52 is as corrected and excluding these items for public comment. 54, 69, 70, and 81.
All right, that's our motion. Is there a second? There is a second. Any cards on those items? Comments or questions by the City Council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski. Stark. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Next item is item 54. Item 54 is the next item. Is there a motion on item 54?
So move. Item 54.
We have a motion in favor of item 54. We have a second. Ms. Greta Rogers, did you have comments on item 54? That's all right. It happens. Never done. We're just beginning.
On this item, which is contingent upon receiving a federal grant through FEMA. This, if it becomes effective, this works out to $91,080.30 per position without benefits for 3 years. Do you anticipate and have you planned to be able to fulfill this obligation to the new hires if it occurs, in addition to the benefits? And the reason I ask that is because at a budget hearing I attended yesterday in Ahwatukee, it was stated by the finance B&R director and the city manager who has finance under his jurisdiction, that you anticipate a possible decline in proceeds available for the budget next year. The last major downturn we had occurred at the fall of '08, became seriously adverse in 9 and 10, and it's a little soon for us to have another one, but it isn't impossible. So I want you to closely evaluate this before you just casually say yes, because you've got people's livelihoods on the line here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. I'll ask the city manager to address that in terms of the grant assumes a city match, and obviously not only a short-term one, but a long-term one. What, can you give your thoughts on that?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. So we don't take it casually. Mr. Barton, the Budget and Research Director, has worked closely with the fire chief and her staff to ensure that we have the funding for the match as required in this position, and it would be available from the dedicated fire funds, and so we are confident that we can fulfill this grant if it's awarded by the federal government.
All right, thank you very much. Any additional comments or questions by members of the City Council? So we have a motion in favor of 54. We have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio. Yes. Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski. Stark.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, and Ms. Rogers, I think your comments are up next, if you could approach the microphone, but we have a motion on 69.
And 70.
69 and 70, please.
Yes.
We have a motion in favor of 69. We have a second. Ms. Rogers, 69 and 70. Is your
Thank you, Mayor. Is this hotel to be built by a private party on land that they buy or lease from the city?
I think you want item 81, which is a hotel that is built on private property.
Oh, is this
is
69?
Chandler Boulevard.
I'm sorry. 69 is extension of Chandler Boulevard in the neighborhood where I live. From 19th to 27th Avenue. Is this fait accompli, Sal?
Well, it's been redesigned several times.
I beg your pardon?
It's been redesigned several times. The entire neighborhood was involved in the.
I know it's been on the books for a long time.
Well, it's not a fait
Is this
accompli.
a design fait accompli?
Well, do I feel it's safe now? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and until the council votes on it, well, actually, it's state.
Okay,
monies.
and this should include bike lanes
Yep. That was one
and
of the-
curbing and sidewalks, correct?
I don't know about the sidewalks, but it is.
Sidewalks, this is where people live. This isn't a factory-zoned area,
No,
nor commercial.
no.
So it needs to have curbing and sidewalks and bike lanes, in addition to the 3 lanes proposed per side.
The bike lanes were originally eliminated from this. That was where the debate came in with the neighborhood. And you know, from my position, I don't bike, I don't cycle, but I do understand the value of that, Greta. And whether we're gonna have a bike lane on there or not, they're gonna be there anyways. It's about 1.25 miles straight without any stops. So to not have a bike lane on there would be very unsafe, and that's where a lot
Well,
of
you
this
know
comes
as well
from.
as I do, the state is cheaper than dirt. And their concern about safety is almost zilch. So I hope you will fight for the maximum of safety, not just to the people in cars, but those on bikes and on foot. This is going to go through neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Those are the cards on 69 and 70. We have a motion in favor of 69 and 70. We have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego. Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Waring. Williams. Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Okay, next item is 81. I think that's the hotel item, Ms. Rogers. You had some comments on it. Was there a motion on 81?
And it is a hotel in the District 8, but not part of it is privately built on.
I move 81.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, so I think it answers Ms. Rogers' question. Do you have any additional questions on 81? The question I asked. Okay, so motion and a second, no additional cards on 81. Comments by members of the council, roll call.
DeCiccio. Gallego. Noakowski. Stark. Waring. Williams. Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so that passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 95. We have a motion on 95.
I move 95.
Oh, I'm sorry, 95 is, I apologize. That's a planning and zoning agenda item?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, here it is, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, item 95 is a planning and zoning matter. It concerns the southeast corner of 37th Street and Shea Boulevard. We'll get a staff report from Mr. Stevenson, our planning director.
This is 95. This is parking.
That's why we have an outstanding vice mayor to whisper in my ear when I go in the wrong direction. Item 95 is parking improvements text amendment. And we'll hear a staff report from our planning director, then hold a public hearing, and then see if there is a motion by member of this city council. Vice Mayor, how'd I do?
Well,
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. All right, good. All right, Mr. Stevenson, staff report on item number 5, parking improvements text amendment.
Mayor, members of council, I do have a brief PowerPoint, but I'll forego that because you've all been briefed on this, and I believe there's only one person here on this item. And so in this particular request, it's a text amendment regarding parking improvements for parking, restaurant, bar, recreational outdoor uses. This is something that came up as a result of restaurants like The Yard and their requirement that was not in the ordinance previously to have parking for the areas where there are recreational uses, like their outdoor ping pong, beanbag toss. All those areas did not have a parking requirement. This text amendment addresses that deficiency. There are a couple of other things that get addressed as part of this related to on-site parking management issues and those things. It was an outgrowth of a substantial parking study group that the city worked with. There was a component of it that did have some allowance for additional parking to be located inside a neighborhood if it was approved by a use permit. The downtown subcommittee did not recommend approval of that language, and so it stands before you without that language. 10 of the village planning committees recommended approval as proposed by staff. 4 did recommend denial. So staff does recommend approval per the Downtown Aviation Economy and Innovation Subcommittee recommendation, which removed the language to allow any new on-street parking provisions, but did add the requirement for parking to address those recreational uses. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for our planning director? Okay, I'll now hold the public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing. Public hearing is now open. I only have one card not wishing to speak from Alyssa Lyons, representing Valley Partnership, in favor of Planning Committee recommendation. Are any other citizens here wishing to speak to the City Council on item 95, parking improvements text amendment? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is now closed. I'll now turn to the council and see if we have a motion on item 95.
I move item 95.
let's see, is that based upon the
On
downtown?
the staff recommends approval, I recommend, or I make the motion of agreeing with the staff recommendation of the approval of parking improvement text amendment.
Second.
And adopt the related ordinance?
Adopted it.
We have a motion, we have a second. I believe that's what the Valley Partnership was supporting, because that is the Planning Commission recommendation, is that correct?
I would just add for the record,
Please.
per the Downtown Aviation Economy Innovation Subcommittee, because that's where the language actually got struck, just to make crystal clear that
Sure.
none of the on-street parking provisions were included, and that was most important to the Vice Mayor.
Per the Downtown Aviation Economy and Innovation Subcommittee.
All right, so that is the motion. I believe this seconder will support that. Okay, any comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Gallego. Noakowski. Stark. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. What's the next item on the agenda? 96 is next. So now we're on 96, which is the southeast corner of 37th Street and Shea Boulevard. Mr. Stevenson, do you have a staff report on that item?
I do, Mayor, members of council. This request is a request to rezone a 1.65 acre site located at the southeast corner of 37th Street and Shea Boulevard, as shown on the aerial to my right here. The requested rezone is from RE 43 to residential office to allow for residential office development. It was approved by the Paradise Valley Village Planning Committee by a 10-4 vote. The Planning Commission also recommended approval by a 7-0 vote with some modified stipulations. Since that time, the applicant and staff had some additional outreach with an interested neighbor in that area, and the backup memo that came out dated April 3rd, 2017, has an additional stipulation regarding access to 37th Street that addresses the principal neighborhood opposition issue, and staff does recommend approval per that memo along with the related ordinance.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see, I'm going to open up the public hearing on item number 96. Public hearing is now open. There are no cards on that item. Is any member of the public here wishing to speak on item number 96, 37th Street and Shea Boulevard? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is now closed. This is in District 3. Councilwoman Stark, do you have a recommended motion on item 96?
Yes, I do. I'd like to motion to approve per the memo from the Planning and Development Director dated April 3rd, 2017, and adopt the related ordinance. We do want to delete stipulation 11, correct, Alan?
That is correct, Councilwoman.
Okay, because the new stipulation supersedes that.
Correct.
Okay.
The prior stipulation 11 dealt with right turn only access to 37th Street. What was reached with the neighbors was no access except for emergency vehicles, and so that's what replaced that one.
All right, so the motion is to approve the item based upon the Planning Development Director's April 3rd, 2017 motion, adopt the related ordinance, noting that stipulation number 11 will be deleted.
Correct.
There a second?
Second.
All right, any additional comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Under here. Yes.
Noakowski.
Here, and yes.
Stark. Waring. Williams. Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously, and Councilman DeCiccio is present. All right, next item. Do we have any other agenda items? There be no further business before the City Council. Today's meeting is adjourned.